is a good place to live in Palma de Mallorca? This is the question that I got a lot from all of you guys who are interested in moving to Mallorca. Hello, this is Eva. I've been living in Palma de Mallorca for more than 4 years now, and I usually make videos about living in Palma de Mallorca. Today's video is all about pros and cons of living in Palma city center of Mallorca. I've been living in Palma city center for more than 4 years now, and I can tell you from my experience. First, I want to talk about positive things about living in Palma city. First, public transportation is really convenient compared to other parts of Mallorca. Palma city is a hub for transportation to go to the other places. So from Plaza de España, train and bus station, you can go to other villages like Inca, Monacor, Valdemosa, Campica Fort, Alcudia, and many other places in Mallorca. Second, it's very obvious. You can easily walk to pharmacies, hospitals, bars and restaurants, cinemas, and all. You know, you don't have to drive a car. You don't need a car actually. I don't have a car yet. So I can just easily go to, let's say, Santa Catalina to have brunch. It takes me like 20 minutes to walk there. And for example, if I want to go to the department store, it's like 5-10 minutes to go there, and pharmacies everywhere, hospitals near my house, so I don't need to drive a car to get to the places I want, unlike small villages. From the small villages, let's say you're sick, then you have to drive for quite a while to go to hospitals, and if you want to go to the big supermarket, you also have to drive, maybe, I don't know, at least 15-20 minutes. And unlike small villages, in Palma city there are a lot of things to do, so I'm really happy about living in Palma city center. The last pros of living in Palma city is that you can communicate with people in English. If you don't speak Spanish, don't worry. Of course, it's always good to learn the local language, but if you're new to Spanish language or if you don't speak Spanish, you can make your life much easier in Palma city center. I cannot say that everybody in Palma city speaks very good English, but at least if you go to the bars or restaurants or cinemas or shops, they speak at least basic English, so you can communicate with them in English without so much problems. Unlike villages, because if you go to Mallorcan villages, small villages, maybe they don't know English, or yes, I think some popular villages like Valdemosa, I'm sure, but if you live in really small villages, then maybe they only speak Spanish or Mallorquin, which is the dialect of Catalan, so it'll be a little bit troubling, you know. In Palma city, you don't really need your Spanish skills to communicate with people, so it's very convenient. So that's the reason that I felt really reluctant to learn Spanish in the beginning of my life here. But then I regret it. But this is another story, so I'm going to talk about it in the next videos, okay? And now let's move on to the negative parts of living in Palma city. This is something that I can tell you from my own experience, especially because I suffer from the number one part. The first negative thing about living in Palma city is noise and air pollution. In the winter time it's okay because there are less people, less tourists, less cars, less traffic, so it's not a really big deal. But in the summertime there are more tourists, more visitors, and there are more cars, more traffic, so of course it causes more noise and air pollution. So some days the heat is trapped and the smoke is trapped under the clouds or something, and it smells really bad. Of course it's not as bad as other big cities like Bangkok, but it's not a really pleasant feeling. But well, it's part of living in the city, right? That is a city life. And the noise. In the summertime there are more people, the sun goes down later, so more people are outside, they may be drunk, they're loud, they cause noises. But there is a solution. We changed the window. We used to have like really thin old windows, but now we are really good. If we close the windows, I barely hear things because the windows are really good. It's pretty expensive, but anyways, it was totally worth it. Most of the houses in Mallorca, they don't have really good windows unless they have changed. So if you're gonna live in a house with old windows, you're gonna suffer a little bit from the noise. And the second negative part of living in Palma City is the rent. The rent is very expensive. If you want to live in a decent studio with one room, one small living room, one kitchen, one bathroom just for yourself in the center of Palma, it will cost at least 800 per month, not including the bill. And if you want to rent a flat, let's say with 2-3 rooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 living room, like nice space, you have to pay at least 1,200 euros, not including bill. And if you want to live in a decent flat with some heaters and good windows, and you have to pay like 1,500 euros at least, and you have to pay for the gas and water, electricity and all, so it will add up a lot. One of the friends that I met in the Spanish class, he told me he's living in a flat with his flatmate and he pays like 350 euros. Like, it was like already a few years ago, and I asked him like, oh, is it a new flat? And he said no, it's very old and he has no elevators. The house is not so desirable, maybe it's very basic. And also he told me he got really lucky. His landlord is British man, because he's British, so like I guess it's a British discount for for same country people, I guess. I think boys, they don't care so much about the interior, how the room looks, but I think it depends on the person, but they don't care as much as the girl. Imagine you decide to move to Mallorca and you don't want to live in a really shitty room, right? If you want to find a nice, decent room with the nice windows and the heater and all, then you have to pay like, I don't know, 500, 600 euros, including the bill if you're lucky. So yeah, living in Palma City is not really cheap, and it's a really big problem here. And nowadays the electricity bill is pretty expensive in Spain. So of course Mallorca is affected as well, and the gas is expensive. Everything is pretty expensive. So living in the Palma City is not as cheap as before. I remember when I came to Mallorca for the second time for traveling, it wasn't so expensive. The groceries, taking the coffee or eating out wasn't so expensive, but nowadays like everything is literally very expensive. So I'm not sure where you're from, but yeah, it's not very cheap living in Palma City. I hope this is very helpful for you. And if you have any questions about living in Mallorca or traveling around Mallorca, more specific questions that need to be answered, you can just write a comment here down below or send me DM through my Instagram, Eva Yubin Chung. I hope you liked the video, and I will see you in my next video, okay? Adios, hasta luego.